Do you think Kickdam will like my drawing, Robbie?
A little brown-haired girl asked as she rocked back and forth on her heels, impatient as ever. A blue-haired girl, a couple years older than her little sister, looked down at the brunette.
I think she will, Roxy.
She said with a smile.
I'm not sure if she'll be happy about all the glitter that's going to fall off of it, though.
Roxana looked at the drawing in her hands and hummed.
Maybe. I'll just put it in my bag for now.
She opened her backpack and put the drawing inside. Robyn looked around as Jennie Yala, one of the 2 teachers of magic, guided children to their parents and caretakers. The sorceress had always waited by the entrance to make sure that each child found their families, and if they didn't, she'd sit with them until their relative came.
Look, there she is!
Roxana said with a gasp as she saw their elder sister walk through the gates.
Kickdam! Kickdam!
The brunette squealed as she ran over to greet her sister. Robyn let Jennie know that their sister had arrived before running after Roxana. Arlay knelt down and embraced both sisters at once.
Look what I drew, Cake!
Roxana opened her backpack and took out the piece of art to show her eldest sister. Arlay took out the piece of paper in her hands, offering a small smile.
That's really nice, Rox.
The redhead said before giving her the piece of art back, looking at Robyn.
How was your test today, Robyn?
Arlay asked as she took their backpacks, throwing both of them over her shoulder.
It went great. I was in the top 3 for long-range combat. Mr. Lot said I need to work on my close combat skills, though.
Robyn said, a little defeated with her results.
It's alright. You'll get there in the end. You need to fall before you can fly.
Arlay said, giving her younger sister a pat on the shoulder.
We just need to wait for your brother and Rowan. I said I'd pick him up today.
Can I have a snack? I'm hungry.
Roxana asked as she rubbed her tummy. Arlay opened the small compartment on her belt, taking out some homemade chocolate pieces. It was usual for the sisters to be hungry, so she always had something on her person for an energy boost. Thanks to her healer abilities, this practice also provided a quick remedy.
Thank you, Cake.
Both sisters said in unison before going to sit on the edge of a nearby fountain. Arlay remained where she was stood so that she had a good view of the entrance. The knight watched for Rowan, suspecting that he'd be leaving first. It was to be expected for her youngest brother, Taro, to end a few minutes late. He'd usually help to clean the tower that he was taught in. As for Rowan, she knew that his mother usually saw him outside. It wasn't that Jennie wasn't trusted, more so an excuse to talk to one of her other 2 children. She didn't get to see the oldest of her children as they were busy being knights while she was busy training the future ones. Arlay's eyes followed as children followed after their parents, some younger and older. She was used to the sounds of kids laughing and crying, considering that there had been a baby boom not long after the war was over. Arlay is currently 24 and has no plans for children. She has a duty to do as a sworn knight. She'd rather protect existing families than create a new one. A little girl with pale pink hair said bye to Jennie before rushing down to go to her caretaker, a graduated knight by the name of Yasmin Ronby. She had brown hair with diamond blue eyes, a pair of eyes Arlay would never forget. Despite turning her head away and attempting to turn off from sound, she heard their conversation clearly.
Thanks for picking me up, Yasmin.
The little girl, Isaline, chirped as she hugged Yasmin. Isaline was around Roxana's age and slightly taller than her, but still tiny compared to Yasmin.
You're very welcome.
The brunette smiled as she patted her back gently.
Toma wanted me to tell you that he was sorry he couldn't pick you up. The silly little thing broke his ankle doing a stunt this morning.
Aw, it's okay. Can we get him a treat from the bakery in town to make him feel better?
Of course you can. Would the little knight like to head there on her horse?
Yasmin said playfully as she knelt down. Isaline instantly giggled and ran around to jump on Yasmin's back.
Here we go. To the bakery.
That was all Arlay could hear. It was more than she wanted to hear. Arlay stared at the ground, questioning how anyone would trust that woman with their sister. The knight turned her head to look at her own sisters, who were smiling and giggling away to each other as they finished their chocolate. Arlay spotted Rowan and his mother exit the academy. She turned to the girls.
Come on, you 2. Roxana, don't rush off. Hold your Kickdam's hand.
The redhead said, seeing Robyn instantly take her little sister's hand. The three headed over to the entrance and walked up the small stairs to meet Jennie and the vice principal, Ercolani. Upon seeing the girls together, Jennie turned to greet them.
Arlay, good to see you.
The redhead bowed her head to the sorceress and vice principal.
Oh, no. You don't need to bow, child.
The two younger sisters followed their elder sister's example. Jennie couldn't help but smile with a shake of her head.
Miss Smith,
Mrs. Ercolani bowed her head to the fellow knight.
do you know where my eldest son is by chance? He seems to be running late.
The light blue-haired woman looked down at her blonde son, seeing him busy coding a new software on his tablet.
Rowan?
Mrs. Ercolani tapped his shoulder. Rowan looked up and gave a small wave to the Smiths before turning to his tablet.
Boys.
I offered to pick Rowan up today, considering I was already en route to come collect my brother and sisters.
Arlay said.
It didn't really seem worth Cody and Jason interrupting their training time when I could easily do the task myself.
Oh, well, thank you.
Mrs. Ercolani offered a smile.
How are things coming for your upcoming ceremony?
Quite well. Everything's been prepared and we have some rehearsals tomorrow. My brother is graduating the same day too, thanks to Miss Yala and Mr. Zald.
How long do you plan to keep addressing me like that? I told you, we needn't these formalities.
Jennie said with a playful grin.
It's rare to find such formalities now.
Isn't it just?
Mrs. Ercolani responded, shaking her head with a sigh.
I've heard the students calling teachers by silly nicknames, even when they've just met them. It just seems disrespectful to me.
The women looked over as the doors opened, revealing the Smith sisters' brother. He was shorter than Arlay, but a lot taller than Robyn. He was a shy blonde in a pair of apprentice sorcerer robes. With him was his second teacher of magic, Hechicero Zald.
Isn't this quite the gathering?
Hechicero said with a chuckle.
I do hope you're not gossiping about us, ladies and lad.
The sorcerer teased.
No, you just took far too long and we got bored.
Jennie declared, arms folded.
Yes, you are rather tawdry, Pharaoh.
Mrs. Ercolani grinned. The girls giggled in the background.
I see that I'm outnumbered.
Hechicero said before looking towards Arlay.
Miss Smith?
Arlay bowed her head, then gave her brother a small side hug. Mrs. Ercolani knelt down and gave Rowan a peck on the forehead.
Are you sure you've got everything?
She said before lifting his chin to meet her gaze.
Yes, Mother.
Rowan responded, turning his tablet off.
All right, be good for Miss Smith on the way home, and remember to tell your brother Shelby wants those schematics back.
Rowan nodded before heading over to Arlay's side.
You got everything too, right, Emilio?
Arlay asked as Taro held Roxana's free hand. He gave a nod.
Thank you, 3.
Arlay said to the Academy's vice principal and teachers of magic.
Are we still okay for a full rehearsal this Friday?
Arlay asked Jennie and Hechicero while her siblings skipped down the stairs.
Absolutely. We'll be at the arena at noon.
Jennie responded with a smile. Arlay bowed her head once more before descending down the stairs with Rowan by her side. The redhead watched as her sisters and brother were skipping together ahead of them, giggling together as if they were all still children.
Hey, Taro, do you think there's a way to use magic to make me taller?
Roxana asked as she skipped between him and Robyn. Taro thought to himself. Even if a spell of that sort existed, it wouldn't be great to use unless it was an emergency of some sort.
I don't think there's one.
The blonde said with a nervous smile. Roxana gasped dramatically.
You look guilty. Are you fibbing to me?
What? Me?
Taro nervously squeaked.
I would never lie.
Then why are you nervous? Huh?
I'm not nervous.
Taro squeaked again.
That's not true. You always squeak when you're nervous.